the very best bang for the buck. Now, I've said this before about cigars, and usually I'm talking about cigars that you don't care what happens to it, right? You can use it on a golf course. You can use it when you're in the garage. Fingers Malloy, you could use it when you're making yourself a nice reverse sear steak, and the steak's done, but you haven't finished the cigar, and you're like, you know what? I'll light another one later, right? There are those cigars that exist, Fingers Malloy.
Absolutely.
And they're good cigars. But when you can do a 9-inch smoke under $20, you do it when it is the Arturo Fuente Hemingway Masterpiece. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That right there is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. When I tell you it's the best bang for the buck, when I can find them, I buy them by the box. This is the Arturo Fuente Hemingway Masterpiece Natural. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a 9x52, which means it is 9 inches long. Oh, makes me so happy. Always makes Fingers Malloy laugh. The ring gauge is a 52. That's the diameter of the cigar, or how thick it is around. Again, with the laughter. This cigar is, there's a natural and there is a Maduro. I will state for the record, the Maduro for me is a better smoke. The natural is a beautiful smoke. It is Arturo Fuente, where we're not playing into the rare pinks. We're not playing into the opuses. We're not doing the Destino Siglos. It is the core Arturo Fuente line, just done beautifully in a way that you're like, I have got 3 hours. Well, I'm going to sit my butt down and I'm going to enjoy for 3 hours. We just lit this up, Fingers Malloy. What have you found so far?
Well, the first thing I found is my every Sunday smoke during a Detroit Lions game.
Right? Oh, 100%. This all day.
I mean, a lot of times I'll smoke a cigar the first half and then watch the halftime show and then light up one for the second half. This will last you 3 hours. And also, if you're smoking this while you're walking down the street and some street toughs come up to you, you can knock them over the head with it. This thing is huge.
It is huge, but it is not overly heavy. It is exactly what you think you'd get from a 9-inch cigar. It is not overwhelming. It is not overly packed. The wrapper, which is the Cameroon, and I am a sucker. Daddy is a sucker for a Cameroon. Fingers, you want to guess in this conversation who Daddy is?
Boutros Boutros-Ghali.
That is correct. I am Daddy. There is nice oil on this cigar, and it is not overly smooth. You feel the leaf. You feel some of the movement in the wrapper itself. But what you have is just this wonderful flavor. There's this right amount of spice with a right amount of cream. Now, those are very base analogies, right? Examples. That's my point. That there's nothing in this cigar, and all the times I've smoked it, that you are going to be digging super heavy to try and find what is that flavor or what is that mood. It is telling you almost off the bat, here's who I am. And it's going to satisfy for the 3 hours. And honestly, Fingers Malloy, you can't say that about many things in life.
There it is.
There it is.
But you asked me what I'm getting off the stick. And so far, there's some cedar, a little bit of creamy sweetness, and pepper. But we just lit this. We're just in the first 12th of the cigar. So what about you?
Yeah, so I think you're right about the wood, and the spice is definitely there. And it is really a back of the tongue kind of experience. That middle tongue plays that wood almost to a sense of bitter. What is creamy, if you will, is as you bring things in, as you're doing that draw, that creamy kind of exists. What lingers is the wood and the pepper. Fingers, you look lost. What's wrong?
Oh, nothing at all. I'm just enjoying this cigar and thinking about how this will be wonderful during the football season. And now you've talked me into, I'm not a box guy. I don't go buy a box of cigars normally, but if I can get my hands on a box, I may go ahead and make that purchase. Did you say it's rare to come across the box?
So the issue is that you don't find it all the time. And if you're somebody who buys online, this is something that back orders with regularity, for sure. When I find it by the box, I get it by the box, whether it's the natural or it's the Maduro. The question, Fingers Malloy, the Arturo Fuente Hemingway Masterpiece Natural, the 9x52, 9 inches long. Settle. Is it in your humidor for $19 a
Yes.
stick? There's just no question. It is one of those cigars that you buy it, you have it. It isn't going to be an everyday smoke. You understand that. But let's say it's your football smoke. A box of 10, all right, that's getting you through most of the season. That's not so bad. Perfect football smoke. This is your Friday evening, the work is done smoke. Great. This is your, I just put the brisket on and I'm going to be up with it for the first 3 hours, making sure I give it the spritz with the apple cider vinegar and the water, or the orange juice, the Coke, whatever it is you decide to use. Perfect cigar. But you do, even with the cigar, you want to get out your notebook. You want to talk about what you ate today, what did you drink today, the weather. It's been a little overcast here in Indianapolis, a little bit of humidity. And if the show sounds different, it's because this is the first show in the new studio. We are not done yet with the decoration, the decor, the video setup isn't done yet, but I could not wait another second. And we are in the new studio. That the table is a folding table. Nothing is complete. But how good is it, Fingers Malloy, to be in the future home?
It's great to be home, Tony.
Right?
And this does feel like home. At some point, I don't know if you've done it yet. You do have
I've used the bathroom.
That's where you went with this?
What were you going to say?
I was going to say you have to show the folks out there in Eat, Drink, Smoke Nation the humidor. Because the humidor is fantastic.
The humidor is a refrigerated and holds 1,700 sticks. We'll be talking about it in the days ahead. So you got your notebook out. What did you eat today? What did you drink today? The weather, all of that will affect the palate. All of that will affect saliva and therefore how you taste. And then even with a cigar that's 9 inches long, we still go with the basic methodology. Break it up into thirds, first third, second third, final third. If you really want to break it up into fourths, you can. But I think that you're playing a game with yourself. The idea here is not that you're exact. The idea here is that flavors change with combustion as the heat builds or simmers, as the cigar moves through, and as your taste buds start getting used to certain flavors. Write down what you're experiencing in each third. Then a month from now or 2 months from now, you go back, you do the cigar again, you do the same thing, you compare your notes, and you get your through lines. What is it you're really getting out of the cigar? That's your flavor profile.
Well, the thing about you start getting into a fourth... it goes from observation to now I'm doing homework.
Right. It went from smoking a cigar to doing calculus.
Yeah.
And there's just no need for this. The Arturo Fuente Hemingway Masterpiece Natural, the 9x52, $19 a stick, all day long. There's not a question. This is a great way to kick off the new studio, to kick off the new space. We have a tremendous amount to get to. Find everything we do at eatdrinksmokeshow.com and on Instagram, Eat Drink Smoke Podcast. Find us there. So we need an update, Fingers Malloy, because you are a kitchen gadget guy.
That's me.
It is Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That right there is Fingers Malloy. Fingers has got all new plans for the new studio space and how we're laying things out. And we're fully aware that we've been great on cigar reviews and bourbon reviews, but we've been lousy on the food side. The original plan for Eat, Drink, Smoke was to do a different food item every week, something we made. We were bringing in chefs. Just the logistics was a nightmare. We couldn't do it. But now in the new studio space, we can. And Fingers turns to me stone-faced, cold, like he has seen a ghost that was somehow making out with another less attractive ghost. And he says, Tony, I say, Fingers, what? He goes, Tony, look into my eyes, Tony. I said, Fingers, what is it? He said, are you looking, Tony? I said, I'm looking. He goes, you need to get the Ninja wood-fired grill. And I said, I'm still trying to figure out the Ninja Creamy. He said, screw the Ninja Creamy. Who needs ice cream right now? By the way, if you want, I have some ice cream. The Ninja wood fire grill Ninja they're not a sponsor, sadly. They make excellent products. I had a Ninja coffee maker for years. The Ninja Creamy works, and you have Ninja products. You buy the wood fire grill.
Yeah.
Explain, and it's an indoor.
No, it's outdoor. It's an outdoor grill.
Wait, what?
Yes.
I thought it was an indoor grill.
No. Well, they do have a Ninja indoor grill. This is an outdoor grill. It's a pellet grill, and it's very interesting. Now, listen, I am not saying that this is a grill that you should buy to replace the grill that you have.
If this becomes an air fry conversation, you and I are going to riot.
Well, we're going to riot. Just hold off on the rioting for a second and let me explain.
I'm listening.
So this is a supplement to whatever you have right now. This is not something I say you run out and say, this is going to be my only grill. First of all, it's electric. It is much like a kitchen appliance, except you use it outside. It's got a little tiny hopper that you put a handful of pellets in, and it will ignite, and you can grill with it. You can broil. You can use it as a smoker. And what it also has is an air fryer feature. And listen to me when I tell you, you can make incredible wood flavored fried chicken with this. You like smoked wings? This thing makes incredible smoked wings.
I love fried chicken and smoked wings. Okay. So I'm looking at it on Amazon, but you can get it anywhere. It's a small item.
Yes.
Right? I mean, I'm staring at it. It's not the biggest thing in the world. It runs 120, so you don't need any kind of special power, which is important. Why do I need this?
Again, it's a supplement. So say, first of all, if you're in an apartment, if you're in a condo where you're not allowed to have a gas grill or a charcoal grill.
Oh, you're not allowed to flame.
Right.
Oh,
it's great for that. I've used it for burgers. I've used it for hot dogs. It's great for that as well. A steak, I probably wouldn't do a steak on it. But what it does is it gives you that wood flavoring so you got this taste of a barbecue without the mess. It's got it's some sort of nonstick coating on the griddle and then nonstick coating on the air fryer basket that you put in there. So the cleanup is a snap. It really is convenient, and it's not for me. If I know, if my daughters look at me and say, I want a quick burger.
Papa?
Yeah, Papa.
Can we eat today?
Yes.
Papa, can we have meat?
Do you have a microphone in my house listening to our conversations?
I need to keep tabs on you at all times.
Oh, but something quick that's easy to clean up. The thing is great. It gives you that barbecue taste.
And I was trying to figure out the whole pellet thing. How do the pellets work? The pellets are for flavor. It is not actually the heat source. So there's like a separate hopper for it. And all it's doing is adding heat. And so it's getting that smoke into it. It isn't being used as the heat source. Let's say like a Traeger, where it is being used as a heat source. Okay, now I understand the mathematics. But fried chicken, it's
because the air fryer.
You son of a
yeah.
You need oil, and you need to risk life and limb.
I'm telling you.
If you're not going to burn your house down, what's the point of fried chicken?
I'm telling you, it makes great fried chicken. Also, the smoked flavor. So what you can do is you can smoke the wings low and slow, and then throw it on. If you want more smoke flavor than you would just have it in the air fryer at 400 degrees for 25 minutes, you can cook it low and slow. The other thing it does, you can cold smoke stuff.
I don't even know what you're saying at that moment.
Put a block of cheese in there with no heat and have the smoke.
Cold smoke it. Okay, now let me say three things. First, it should be understood, Ninja is not a sponsor of the show. We are not saying this because we get paid by Ninja. I have not received a single fingers. Is there anything you'd like to say?
No, I have not. In fact, I got a ridiculous deal on this through a department store on Black Friday. Let's just say they have promotions where they have a lot of bucks that they throw in there.
Right.
So I got this for like $180.
You use Kohl's hard cash?
Yes.
That's what he did right there. There comes a moment where I think that we all get silly in the amount of things. So I have a Traeger, as you know, and I'm about to add a gas grill to it because there's some things the Traeger cannot do. I'm sorry, a steak is not a steak when it's smoked. It's just not. I create brilliant things with my smoker. That's not one of them. So this is a little bit interesting to me, but I am getting the gas grill. I don't know if this is, I don't know if I'm kidding myself. Like, I get it. I try it 2 times. That's great. And then I'm like, all right, it just sits there. And now I got to find a place to put it because you don't leave it outdoors.
No, you don't. And I have it with a stand that it very easily collapses. I have that put away back in my shed in less than 2 minutes.
But you're a believer.
As a supplement. We wrote a book on barbecue. I don't need everybody starting inundating me. Oh my gosh, what are you doing using this piece of crap? I understand where people are coming from. This is like, if you want something quick, you're in an apartment, you're in a condo, or you want to try different things. Like I said, with the air frying feature, to be able to air fry fried chicken for Sunday on wing day, to be able to have the crispiness of a good wing, but yet the smoke. Sundays are going to be radically different this year.
By the way, on Amazon, this thing has like 1,100 reviews, and 84% of them are 5-star.
Yeah,
I mean that's crazy. All right, if you have one of these Ninja wood fire pellet thingamabobbers, let us know. The Outdoor Grill and Smoker. Let us know what you're getting out of it and what recipes we should try. Because I'll get it just to make the stuff for the show. I'm that kind of American.
I have a question.
You do?
No, actually, I don't. But I was painting a picture.
Oh.
I have a question, a listener may say to himself. It may be about cigars. It may be about bourbon. I should reach out to the folks at Eat, Drink, Smoke because I know if I have a question, they'll have an answer. And that's what we're here for. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Fingers Malloy along with Tony Katz. Find everything we do. Everything Eat, Drink, Smoke Nation on our website, eatdrinksmokeshow.com. Tony, we have a listener question.
Ooh, I love it.
And this actually comes up from time to time. We've answered it before, but I think it's worth answering again because we have new listeners all the time. We're picking up new stations all over the country. So this is from Will using the listener feedback option on Fireside. Fireside is where we host, where the podcast is hosted.
Right.
The question is from Will, looking for a recommendation for a beginner's cigar, something I could easily find.
Oh, gosh. So what's a beginner cigar? I assume they mean something that isn't too aggressive, something that isn't too spicy, something that isn't too heavy, something that isn't too physically large, so more in that Robusto size, that 5-inch, or maybe a Toro, a 6-inch. That right? Because beginner is there's a lot. It's a loaded question.
Yeah, and it's funny that you went there. The first thing I went to is value, where it's like, okay, I want to find what my palate gravitates towards, but I don't want to spend a lot of money because I'm experimenting because I'm new. So I can tell you the first thing that popped into my mind, and we talk about it all the time, is the Buffalo 10.
Right.
Because they have the Connecticut, they have the Maduro.
Yeah, I think I would start there. I would start with an Avo Classic. I think would be a great place to start. I would start with an Oliva Serie V, although some might think that's a little bit more medium. I would start with a La Galera Connecticut.
What
And I
about
don't want to be like, oh, you have to start with the Connecticut. Oh, you can only start with the Connecticut. No, 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 no. You can do other things, but where would I start?
what about? And I don't know if they make
And
them.
this question gets asked all the time, and I never have a good answer.
I don't know if they make them anymore. And before you say, Fingers, this is ridiculous because I'm saying Davidoff because of the price point, but Davidoff used to make these tubos. I don't know if they still make them at three. Was it 3x3?
Oh, good Lord. Yes.
And they were a Connecticut. And they were, if they were $5 a stick, I'd be surprised. But what was great about it was there were tubos, so you didn't necessarily have to have a humidor. You could grab a few of those, see if you like Connecticut. Because it's by Davidoff, the construction's going to be great. I'm not sure if they're still on the market though, because I haven't seen them in a while.
So so the 3x3 wasn't an off brand. It just was a kind of a value play from Davidoff. It was 6 3/4 by 50. It came as it was an Ecuadorian Connecticut, Dominican in the binder of filler. You could actually buy it by the bundle. Is how you could do it. That was a very, very easy cigar, but that was also a more of a wood intensive cigar. Maybe I would go for someone starting a little more creamy, a little more tobacco forward than that, but that's not a bad idea.
That's fair. I just remember whenever I would go to a conference or I was going on a trip where I was going to be around a lot of friends, and if they wanted a cigar but they weren't necessarily a cigar smoker, they're like, "Oh, this is my first cigar. What do you have?" I would grab one of those out of my bag and say, "You got try this and see if you enjoy it."
Yeah.
But I know you can get Buffalo 10.
The Buffalo 10 Connecticut is really a wonderful stick. It's a Toro. It's a 6x50. Again, it's an Ecuadorian Connecticut, but actually has Cameroon in the binder. It's Dominican, Nicaraguan in the filler. But you're gonna find that cigar for $5, and so that is a solid place to start. That's from Artista. That is a solid place to begin for sure. I think though, the Avo Classic is a probably also an excellent place to begin. Connecticut, Ecuadorian, again, all these Dominican. I think throughout on that one, and that will come in a series of shapes. So you may be able to say, okay, here's an interesting flavor profile. Let me try it in different sizes and see which one more works.
What would you think about a nub for a beginner?
So nub is actually, I used to be a huge fan of the nub, N-U-B. This comes from the people at Oliva, and I would already be saying go for the V or go for a G. That comes in series. There's a series O. Or I should say series. It's not pluralized with the S there. The series O, the series G, the series V. I would probably go with a G in that regard. But what makes the nub interesting is that cigar is a 4-inch stick, right? So if you look at nub Connecticut's, it is you can do a 60x4, but that's a pretty big ring gauge, right? That's the other thing. They're bigger in that way. If you go with some of their other sizes, you're down to like 3 3/4. And I don't know, that is truly a dog walker. That is like Arturo Fuente short story or something, which is not necessarily where I would start, but the short story is a wonderful smoke. I'm conflicted in a, I hate this question so damn much.
Here's the thing.
Because look at me. Look at the spiral I just got into. I'm looking things up. I'm thinking about things. I've broken out into a sweat.
Well, here's what I like about the nub is you can almost look at it like a beer flight, because it's, you can look at a cigar. It's only 4 inches long, but the ring gauges are are pretty significant. I mean, I'm looking at the Nub Cameroon right now, and they've got different vitolas, but 58 ring gauge, a 60 ring gauge, a 64, a 66. That may mess with people.
Yeah, but the whole thing, the fundamental problem with this question is that the pressure is through the roof. What should I start with? You get this wrong. You are the jerk face who got it wrong.
Here's my suggestion to you, Will. If you have a cigar lounge, I know it can be intimidating if you're not a cigar smoker, you've never ventured into a lounge before. It's so welcoming. Everyone is so friendly. Go to the tobacconist there. Tell them that this is your first cigar. You're a beginner. What should you choose? And they'll ask you what your flavor profile is. What do you like? Do you like sweet things? Do you like spicy things? And then they'll be able to direct you in their humidor to something that you would probably enjoy.
Now, two things with that. First, I think our recommendation of the Buffalo 10, I think our recommendation of the Avo Classic, these will work for you guys. These are great ways to start, great ways to get into cigars. If you walk into a cigar lounge where they're not welcoming, walk out.
Yeah,
man, if they're not there to help, if they're not saying, hey, glad you're here, let me show you what's what. If they're not that, if they aren't willing to put themselves out there and be like, how can I make this interesting for you? How can I help you kind of find what works for you? You're in the wrong place. I don't care how long they've been there. Any tobacconist, any lounge that isn't like, hey, that's very cool, man. Here, let me show you what's up. You're in the wrong place. That is truth just getting dropped. That's like a truth bomb. Fingers Malloy. Fingers Malloy decided that for the new studio for Eat, Drink, Smoke, the christening should come by beer, not bourbon, Fingers.
It just felt like a beer day.
Not a rye, Fingers.
It just felt like a beer day.
Not a sipping tequila, Fingers.
Oh, you got tequila?
Oh, sure.
What are we doing with beer?
It felt like a beer day.
Oh, there it is.
It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz, and that right there is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. I got all flustered.
Did you get into tequila?
America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. Fingers crack it. This is the Sullivan's Black Marble Stout. Oh,
that
Michael Winslow couldn't do a sound effect that good right there. As you know, we are stout and porter people. We're not going to tell you not to drink an IPA. We're just going to tell you not to drink an IPA. It's ridiculous, all the IPA lovers out there. And we know everybody and their mother who's doing some kind of review show is reviewing an IPA. We're just not those people. We're not those guys. We want a beer that actually, tastes like something you'd want to drink.
Oh, well, Tony, I had a butterscotch raspberry jasmine IPA the other day that was just fantastic. Oh, Radio Gold.
Look at that. That's beautiful. Right there. Got a little bit dripped down onto my hand.
A little palm beer.
I don't know anything about Sullivan's. This is out of Kilkenny, Ireland. Batch brewed, packed in Ireland, Fingers Malloy, and this comes in at 5.1% alcohol by volume. This is to compete with Guinness, Fingers?
Yes. It's going to be very similar to Guinness. I think you're going to enjoy it. If you want something different, I'll be honest, I went to the local beer store here for Super Bowl weekend, and they have a great selection of stouts and porters, and I just bought a whole bunch of stuff that I had never seen before, and I had never seen Sullivan's Black Marble Stout. I was like, well, I gotta buy it, right? It's there. It's a stout. I'm gonna support a liquor store that will put more stout on their shelves and less IPAs. So I'm going to make sure to support it. So I'll be interested to see what you think of it, because you like a stout and a porter as well.
Yeah, right now I poured it into my pint glass and I'm just watching it cascade. It's beautiful.
It's a great pour.
It's like a work of art. Why, thank you, Fingers Malloy. I've been practicing right there. I love the fact that there's more on the market than just Guinness, and this is not an attack on Guinness in any way, a shape or form. I like a beer that has a chew. I like a beer that has that. I like that bitter that comes off of a stout. But Fingers, I mean, this is literally black.
Yeah,
This is not dark brown. This is a black. The head on this is a full 1 inch. Going on right there as I poured it, but enough of the silliness, Fingers Malloy. You ready for this?
Well, did you happen to mention, Tony, that it is batch brewed?
I did mention.
Oh,
that
good.
It is indeed a batch brewed.
Tony, I've been ready for this all day.
You're very excited about the batch brewing, aren't you?
Well, who wouldn't be?
The first drink inside the new Eat, Drink, Smoke Studios. Fingers Malloy, he's going in. Now, we usually do this with a bourbon, and we talk about the Kentucky Chew. You want to take yourself a sip and then a second sip. The first sip to really set the taste buds. The second sip to understand what it is you're really enjoying and what those flavors are. You move it around the palate. That's called the Kentucky Chew. Fingers Malloy, you haven't finished it yet.
Don't think I couldn't finish it right now.
Oh, there's no part of me that thinks that you couldn't finish it right now.
I would like to enjoy it, savor it, Tony. It's very similar to a Guinness.
Is it?
Yeah. And no complaints. Guinness, it's solid. There's that. It's got that little bit of coffee, roasted hoppy taste. Is a little bit of bitter at the end. It's very solid.
I think bitter is this weird flavor to try and explain, because very often, as we've all grown up, bitter is bad. Bitter is bitter. Bitter can be wonderful. Bitter has this fantastic tongue sensation where are you looking for something to still quench the thirst, or are you letting it kind of build, and how it'll for me, it can kind of mellow on the tongue, and then you can pick up other flavors, especially in a stout. Sometimes you'll get coffee notes and things like that. It gives you more of an opportunity to kind of pick those things up. But I think that people hear bitter and they immediately shy away. I don't think you should do that. I'm going in, Fingers Malloy.
He's going in, ladies and gentlemen. He's putting a little air on the froth. He's doing what we like to call the Saginaw Swish.
Oh, that's outrageously smooth. Oh, that is wonderful, creamy. And there it is. That is Guinness all over the tongue.
Yeah.
Beginning to, hold on, excuse me.
He's going in, ladies and gentlemen. He's doing what we like to call the Louisville Lip.
That is wonderful. That is super smooth. From Sullivan's Craft Brewery, the Black Marble Stout coming in at 5.1% alcohol by volume.
Going back to that bitterness conversation, if it were just bitter, that's a problem.
Correct.
But it has a lot of other things going on. It's creamy. It's got that coffee note to it. And I'll be honest, especially if you were 2 or 3 beers in, this is so similar to Guinness. If someone put that in front of you and said, have a Guinness, I don't think a lot of people, unless you are a really, really huge beer fan that just dissects what they drink, I think you could fool a lot of people into thinking that's a Guinness.
I don't know. I don't know. I feel that this is a bit smoother than what I've had from Guinness. It's not, Guinness is the standard, if you will, of what we know of stouts. This is smoother. I think it's a little more creamy going on here. It's a nice coffee note, and interesting. It's more coffee than it is bitter.
Yeah,
and so in that finish, that's what remains. And that's really nice. But the question, Fingers Malloy, is this in your liquor cabinet for the 4-pack for $16.99?
If it's on sale.
Like, this is an expensive beer.
Yeah.
$16.99.
I don't know if it's that much different than a Guinness for me, and Guinness is cheaper. You want something different? The can looks cool. The drinking experience, it's fine. $17 for a 4-pack. That's a decision you have to make.
Yeah, but I think I could make that decision.
Yeah? Is it in your refrigerator?
Hold on a second. Excuse me.
He's going back in, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I could do this from Sullivan's. We often talk about the price of things. What's happening with bourbon? What's happening with cigars? What's happening with food? Because these are the conversations happening in the cigar lounge. These are the conversations you're having in your life. The cost of everything is higher. And I know there are people out there who want to say, well, relatively, you pay more for eggs, you pay more for milk, you're paying more for cigars, you're paying more for bourbon. You're paying more for fast food. And as we have discussed, the fast food folk are starting to see people, that the terminology that was utilized was people are starting to crack. When fast food becomes so expensive, you can't go, you almost feel broken. Like, I can't even afford a Big Mac. Good Lord. Well, prices have gone up. Let us prove it to you. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That right there is Fingers Malloy. Great piece from thestreet.com about how we're seeing price increases. Now, one of the places that has totally embraced price increases is Chipotle. In the world of fast food, Chipotle has said, we're raising our prices. No, we're raising our prices. No, we're raising our prices. Hey, we're going to raise our prices. And what has the consumer done? They keep coming back. There is something about Chipotle that is seen as value, that is seen as healthy, that seems to connect with people, and the price increases have not stopped people from showing up.
People love to eat and then run to their bathroom.
Good gosh. What kind of person are you, opening up yourself to that kind of lawsuit?
That doesn't happen to everybody. It just must be me then.
Just you. Only you and nobody else. This is a fantastic list. So this talks about price increases from a host of fast food places. Great example. So a medium French fry. That's not a large, Fingers, but not a small.
Oh, I see what you did there.
In 2019, the end of 2019, a medium fry was $1.79
At McDonald's.
Right now, $4.19. That's a 134% increase. The McChicken was $1.29. Now it's $3.89. The Big Mac was $3.99. And now it's $7.49. That is a massive change. The cheeseburger, you used to be able to get a cheeseburger for $1. You go in on like 42 cheeseburgers, please. And $1. It's now $3.15. That absolutely plays with your head.
Yeah. I mean, let's break this down and compare it in a different way. You look at the price of a Big Mac at the end of 2019. You said it was $3.99.
That's right.
That's less than what it costs for a medium fry today. You look at the end of 2019, the price for 3 cheeseburgers and a medium fry, that would be less than $5. You can't even get a Big Mac for $5 now in 2024. These prices have gone through the roof. And for a lot of people, McDonald's was the place you could go to. And for $5, you could fill yourself up.
Right.
Now it's for a lot of people, that's out of the question. It's just too expensive.
Taco Bell. A beefy 5-layer burrito was $1.69 at the end of 2019. Now $3.69. Some things like the cheesy bean and rice burrito went from $1 to $1.19. 19% increase, not the end of the world when you think of it as 19 cents. The Crunch Wrap Supreme. Now, this might lead to a bathroom.
Oh, you want to open yourself up to a lawsuit, do you, Tony?
Challenge accepted. We love you, Taco Bell. Everything about you is just wonderful, and you'd be a great sponsor of Eat, Drink, Smoke. A Crunch Wrap Supreme was $3.49 at the end of 2019. Now, $5.29. It's an increase of 51.6%.
It's crazy. This may surprise you, Tony. I have spent quite a bit of time in my life in a drive-through.
I don't believe that.
Yeah. And one of the things you could count on is going to Taco Bell and getting a 3-taco value meal with a pop, and it would be $5.
With a what?
A pop.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Pop.
Now say that for people who don't live out somewhere in the hinterlands.
A soda pop.
That's a soda. That's it. It's a soda.
You go and get yourself 3 crunchy tacos and a Baja Blast, and to be less than $5, and now the price has gone through the roof.
Burger King. The Whopper used to be $4.19. The Whopper was more expensive than the Big Mac. Well, it was flame broiled, so makes perfect sense. $4.19 at the end of 2019, and now it's $7.79. The Bacon Double Cheeseburger was $2.29. End of 2019, it's now $4.99. That is a 117.9% increase. The point is first, of course, this inflation, of course, the cost of goods going up, this is real. This is very real. It's not your imagination. And it is frightening when people say, well, it's not that bad. Like you'll see some expert on TV trying to explain. This is real life. This is you wanting to get a quick meal for the kids because you're just tired. And it's totally fine. It's okay. I don't think it should be every day, but every now and again, it's totally fine. And a milkshake at Burger King was $3.09 and end of 2019, and now it's $4.99. So it goes from I'm just going to treat myself to, oh man, $5. Huh.
Then that's when you start making decisions. You go to the grocery store, I can get a gallon of ice cream for $5.
But it's not a gallon anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is a whole nother thing. The whole shrinkflation thing is real, and that's been a conversation for years. And shrinkflation is the idea that you're paying the same but getting less in the carton. This has been true of ice cream, it's true of potato chips, and a whole host of things. The company needs to continue to be in business. So they make these changes, and your choice of whether to do it or not. But to decide that, you see, this is about the company. Sometimes people use the term greedy. I never use the word. I don't actually believe that the word in the concept. I'm not a guy who believes in greed at all. If they're not raising the prices, what do? There are real pressures. You can argue that, well, maybe they're making too much. I don't get to decide that for them. No one gets to decide for them if they got too much of a profit margin, except for you when you decide not to go there.
Well, and you used to be in the restaurant business.
Back in the day.
Profit margin is not exactly very high in the restaurant business to begin with.
And certainly when you are fast food, because you're playing a volume game.
Yeah.
How do you play a volume game when a shake? Dear Lord, we're not so far removed from John Travolta and Uma Thurman in Pulp Fiction saying $5. It's a $5 milkshake. That's milk and ice cream. Here we are. Here we are in it. Man, this is having a real effect on how people live.
And going into a restaurant and getting a burger and fries, it's getting to the point where the fast food burger and fries is almost as expensive as a sit-down restaurant, and that's a problem.
If you're talking about like a full meal, like with the fries and the drink and everything else. We'll have this up at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. Man, when you see it in that comparison, that is frightening stuff. Fingers Malloy, we have hit a new level of what are we doing in society. This requires your full attention. This has to do with gambling, Fingers Malloy.
I'm listening.
It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That is Fingers Malloy. Find it all at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. As you know, Fingers Malloy, people like to gamble.
Do they? I had no idea.
They like to bet the ponies. Is what they like to do, or they like to bet on sporting events or UFC, football, basketball,
Cockfighting.
Sure, I don't know where you hang out, but absolutely. Sometimes they like to go to Vegas. They like to play a little roulette or craps, or some people fingers. They like the video poker.
Oh, it's wonderful. By the way, I've never been to a cockfight.
They love the video poker. I tried to get past it. You bring us back in.
I just wanted a note of clarification.
Dave and Buster's, the big arcade behemoth.
Worst casino I've ever been to.
They are going to begin offering loyalty members the ability to bet on games.
I stand corrected.
I don't know what this is. If you're 18 or older, you can place real money wagers on arcade games with friends.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Listen, speaking as the degenerate gambler of Eat, Drink, Smoke.
Yes, that'd be accurate.
Let me say this. We used to do a radio segment way back in the day that I think we should bring back called They Took It Too Far.
Right?
The idea that you can go to a Dave & Buster's and their kids running around and you can bet on skee ball. It's going too far. Is it just me? Or listen, I don't know what you like to do, Tony, when you play skee ball. If you turn to the person next to you and say, care to make it interesting? I don't know if that's something you do, but I thought you just went there and you won tickets, and then you took the tickets to the booth and you got yourself a teddy bear or something like that.
Let's say I want to make it interesting.
Okay.
And let's say I want to bet on it. Do I need anybody's permission? Do I need an app? Do I need some kind of system? Can't I just say $5 you don't make it?
You could, but isn't that illegal? I mean, I'm not for illegal gambling, Tony. But apparently,
they tell me that lemonade stands are illegal too. And I'm like, screw it. Open up a lemonade stand.
Have you ever made a bet on a lemonade stand before?
I got $20. It closes in an hour. I know that because that's when little Tommy has to go to karate practice and his mom's going to grab him.
Oh, inside information.
Now, you didn't say that was wrong. All I'm doing is utilizing the tools available to me.
I got to tell you, Tony, I'm actually all for this because there was a seedy side of Dave & Buster's that not a lot of people saw.
Is that right?
The Dave & Buster's bookie that would walk around and ask if you wanted to place a wager and buy a watch and all the other things that Dave that you didn't want to see happen at a David. No, I'm kidding. Of course, this is ridiculous. And I love gambling. I'm Johnny Gambler.
People love it, man. They love it. I have friends who bet on UFC all the time, and they gather friends, and they watch and they bet on UFC. I have never bet on a sporting thing. I don't have an issue with people doing it. If you want to do it, that's fine. Bet responsibly. I think that's all fine. The question is, if I had an app on my phone where I could bet, how quickly would I live in a one-room apartment?
Let's just say there would probably come a point in your life where you would be financing a hot plate.
Right?
Yeah.
Would I have favorable terms? Would this be 3-year?
All I know,
is there a prepayment penalty? Because I'm going to hit the next thing real big.
I know something about myself, and it's this: I can't have a gambling app on my phone. And I listen. I do not gamble irresponsibly, and part of this is a bit. I don't go to the casino every day. We really enjoy going to Vegas and go to the local casino every once in a while. It's very fun. But they've made gambling so easy now. Sports gambling. You and I have sat in, cigar lounges with friends, watching them going absolutely crazy during football games because the wide receiver that they were betting on needed 85 yards and he had 72 and he needed just a couple, maybe just one more catch to get the 85 yards. And when it happened, you would have thought that the guy hit the lottery, and person was, again, betting responsibly, could completely afford it. But I worry about the people who have impulse control when it comes to gambling, and it's so easy on an app.
But they watch people like David Portnoy. Well, I call him David. A Barstool. And he must lose big, but he also wins big and wins millions. And people are like, I want to do this. It's so cool. Then you have the whole athlete group. They're so proud of what they gamble. They brag about the hundreds of thousands of dollars that they are spending and that they're gambling. I'm not telling them not to. My argument is not that they should not do it. My argument is that it is culturally absolutely not only accepted, but it is it is so wanted. I think the biggest proof is the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah. I mean, accepted. It's encouraged in huge ways. I mean, sports has completely embraced gambling. And if you listen to sports talk radio shows, I mean, a lot of times their studios are sponsored by these apps. And it's funny how 15 years ago, fantasy football, I mean, it was huge and was taking, football to new levels of people following, because they would watch games that they normally wouldn't watch because they had players on their fantasy football team. This is just fantasy football on steroids when people are betting. And it's not just on whether a team will win. It's like I said earlier, well, hey, Jahmyr Gibbs of the Detroit Lions, I bet he'll have 75 rushing yards, and they got money on it. It's really insane how much this has grown in the past 5 years.
There's another story, and this is how is someone going to jail? So there's this woman who was at a cafe in North Carolina. She goes to this cafe weekly. She goes to a doctor's appointment. She goes to the cafe. It's about 80 miles southeast of Raleigh to North Carolina. She drives home and she gets a call from her bank telling her she left her credit card at the cafe. But to find her, the cafe took a picture of the front and back of the credit card and posted it to a Facebook group to track her down. Hey, does anybody know who this woman is? Here's her card and number and expiration date and the 3-digit code on the back. What were they? $2,000 of charges, and I think she's liable for it.
Who would think that's a good idea? I mean, who would think that's a good idea? You put her credit card number on the internet for everyone to see in this group. And man, it didn't take long. She wasn't even home from when she went to the diner, and $2,000 worth of charges were on the card. Insane.
And people used it, and some of the charges didn't go through because of fraud features. Some of them she owes the money on. Wow. This is have people lost all ability to be like, this is a bad idea? Like, wait a second, this is a problem?
Let me think about that. Yes, they have.
Drinking the Sullivan's Brewing Company Black Marble Stout, 5.1% alcohol by volume. Yes, $16.99 for a 4-pack. It's good. It's very, very good. And the Arturo Fuente Hemingway Masterpiece Natural, the 9-inch by 52 is the ring gauge cigar. I still have another hour to go here. Yeah, it's gonna be a long day. It's gonna be worth it. Find everything we're doing over at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. Appreciate the listening. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. This is Eat, Drink, Smoke.
Follow Eat, Drink, Smoke on social media, on Twitter at Go Eat, Drink, Smoke, on Facebook, facebook.com/Eat, Drink, Smoke, and Instagram at Eat, Drink, Smoke Podcast.